what got picked up, say, by Calais, who went to Spain, who ended up in Spain, and what got picked up by Calais, who ended up in Finland, that's over hundreds of years. It's a bunch of different stuff in different places at different times, separated by huge distances. So what we have to get to, and I'm sort of overlapping a bit, I'm trying to stop myself from what I want to talk about this evening. We have to concentrate as people on what remains of the core of direct retention, stuff we all share, and realize that what makes my Indani different from your Indani is this bit. It's the stuff that your group picked up along the way that my group did not. And I don't know what the hell you're talking about when you say that. So what do we do about that? Well, it's something I have pushed for a long time, and Juicy made a big point of it himself yesterday. We have words in other dialects. They're legitimately Romani words. They just are not in our dialect. But if we need it, let's go and get it. We presumably once had it, right? Let me give you an example of Vlach. We've got this verb, pin.
Is it possible to use a different pen because it's not very visible on the board?
Can you not see that?
Not really. Kind of, but we can figure it out because you're saying it, but otherwise.
Maybe a better, this one is kind of wearing out. Let's try this.
Oh, much better, thank you. Wow.
Yes. Okay, all right. Now, in Vlach, and I'm going to say more about Vlach, this means say, and it also means tell. Well, to say something and to tell somebody something is two different things semantically. They don't mean the same thing. Romani dialects, my grandfather's dialect, has this verb, puka, which means to tell specifically. Vlach has lost this good old Indian native Romani word to tell, pukrau. Why not bring it back? That's not cheating.
The word pukerao exists in some Vlach dialects, but with another meaning. So this is if I have a balloon, and to, how it's called in English, to blow up the balloon.
Inflate.
Inflate.
So, and yeah, this will be just normal. No, not purda. Purda is just to, but pukara, when I put some, what's called, air and it changes its form, it becomes bigger.
Like to swallow.
Yeah. The balloon. This what I do with the balloon is pukeramo balloon. This is maybe the best example. I balval purdel. This is another thing, you know.
So the word is there with the
Yes, of course, with another meaning.
Pudar is to blow. I don't see kind of a connection with Phuket. Phuket, in my understanding from other dialects, as I'm learning always that, Phuket means, for example, If you did something, then I'm going to police and tell them, metut pukerav and the police.
Pučava.
No,
Uh-uh.
Asking you.
no, no.
Znaš, kad šmekaš
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to think of
Old
any,
man pukerdas, for example.
to tell on somebody.
Yes, exactly.
Esatto, d'Anglia, Romanda.
What's the English way of saying to tell on somebody?
At the conference.
Inform, maybe?
To report.
To report.
To report you to the police.
Yeah, in hidden way to report. At the Conference of European Roma Travelers Forum, many times when we were quarreling, so many Roma used this word pukerav. So I will tell you how you use your grant in a bad way, misuse the grant, metut pukerava ando consula Europaco.
sa špijunadja, ne?
But this word is used more like a secret word only between the Roma, like this slang or jargon for secret language, kind of as operator che polizia, da?
Da.
Yeah.
Ce?
This is not with the meaning that I will report you to the police or I will report you to the. So there is this among the Roma also this secret language which we don't
So
want.
we have
Yeah.
several interpretations for a word that a lot of black speakers don't know the word at all.
Yes.
So what do we, this is significant because it then brings up the question of, okay, if we've got various interpretations of this word, which one do we select, or do we use it to mean all those different things? Then you're going to get into trouble, because you may be saying one thing and be being understood to have said something different, especially if it has a sneaky aspect to it. You just told somebody, you weren't ratting on him, you weren't, telling tales or so on.
Maybe I can give an example. I had to translate from Serbian language to Romani when Rajko Đurić was arrested. He had home arrest because he accused Tito, former president of ex-Yugoslavia, about Cominterna. So how Tito was alive then, because many of the leaders were killed in Moscow. Then I had to use this word that Rajko Đurić was pukerdo katarogaže, ke pendas kado palo Tito. That was very good understandable for Roma.
That makes sense. That's good.
I would like to say that I think it's not so easy to take one word from one dialect to other dialect, because, for example, about this word, we have, I think it's suffix "ker," yeah, and it's not usually for black dialect. For example, black can say "puterav" or "pusarav," something like the word, "hachkerav" in Rusko-Roma dialect. But you cannot use it at all in black dialect because we don't use the suffix "kerav." For example, it can be "hachisarav" or "hachiterav," That's why we cannot just to take one word to another dialect, because any dialect has some specific.
I'm not sure that that's completely the case. What you find, verbs with a "ke" in them historically seem to be a combination of a noun plus "ke."
Transfer.
Yes.
Another one, I could come up with some examples, but another one that is a combination that has become a verb is to kiss, right? Chumi dao, but it's dao chumi, I give a
Yeah.
kiss.
Care and there, these two words there.
Yeah, so we can dig up a historical word and we'd have to put a asterisk to show that we don't really have proof of it. It's just an educated guess that it once existed.
Could I ask a comparative question? So, I'm not a Romani speaker. How is this different or the same from the phenomenon in a different kind of language, English, Chinese, what we call a big language, insofar as there are, I know we have to subtract the written side of it, which informs how many words I know and where I know them from, but how is it different than my ability to communicate with somebody from a very different place who's also an English speaker, or even a different time, separate, how is this a different phenomenon than what you'd see in one of these other quote-unquote world languages?
How is what different?
How is you're talking about how individuals with one dialect from one Idani have a semantic and syntactic content, and it's different from another one.
Mm-hmm.
How is that different than
Well,
my...
I see what you're saying. I mean, it's like yesterday I talked about the word quite.
Yeah, exactly. So
If you say quite nice to a Brit, it means it's sort of nice. And if you say it's quite nice to an American, it means, it's sort of nice, but not completely nice.
I'm more interested in when it interferes with communication. And in the Romani...
But that would, another word that is applied differently between British and American is calling somebody an eccentric. To Brits, that's sort of cute. He's sort of an eccentric character. For an American, that means he's a nutcase. But if you don't know those semantic differences, you come away with a different understanding about that person. And that's going to happen here. There are dialects that use ka. For the majority of Vlach dialects, this would mark a future tense. I will go. But for some, it means maybe. It means maybe. And there's a big difference between I'm going to go and maybe I'll go. There's room for misunderstanding there. So, back to your comment, Bill, you would have to know both interpretations. And this is what we said yesterday about interpreters. They have to know more than one dialect if they're going to get the whole true meaning. Yeah. Another word, this is also in some Vlach, but not common, is the word for tree. No, I've never heard any Kalbarash or Machado speaker in the States say this word for tree. Instead, mostly, they say kash. Or use a Romanian word. But why? But that means wood, actually. It's not the whole thing. So you've lost a word, and you take another word that's close in meaning, but not exact, just like these two, and you make it do double duty. And we don't have to do that. We can start using this in some sort of written standard Romani, and this moves us into the next point of discussion, which is, all right, what are we going to base a standard on? And what I've been saying for a long time is that if we look at all the different dialects of the language, there are many, many dialects, over 60. We lost some in the war. in the genocide. I think in Lithuania that dialect disappeared.
Czech Roman disappeared as well.
Yeah, Czech Romany. But the one that has the largest number of speakers is the so-called Vlach or Wallachian group of closely related varieties. Not only in terms of numbers, but also geographically. Because after the Robia, after the end of the slavery, those people went everywhere. Most Romani people in North America and South America are Vlach people. And so we can say that Vlach dialects have the most number of speakers and the most geographically dispersed. And when people who don't speak Vlach learn Romani, or they may already speak a dialect of Romani, but if they're going to participate in an international conference, tend to learn Vlach. So from that perspective, that makes sense. But from another perspective, Vlach is so mixed with Romanian, and that's why it's losing words. If you look at the Gerdman dictionary and grammar, 40% of the words in that dictionary are Romanian words. They're not Romani words. So that's fine if you already speak Vlach. But if you try and speak Vlach to, I don't know, especially a Sinti person, it's not going to make any sense.
Not even with Slavic Vlach, you are not able to talk using those Romanian words.
Right.
It is not possible to translate, not to interpret, because interpreter has to know and translator Romanian language.
It was useful for me when I went to Romania to read the Romanian signs because the words were in Vlach already, Romanian words. So there's that. So there's pluses and minuses. The other big minus is that you get people like Slehin who vigorously will say, well, why? Why should we learn Lovario, Calderash? What's wrong with mine? Mine is much better. And people refuse to speak another dialect if it becomes competitive. Who was it said yesterday? The attitude that, well, they don't talk like us, they're not really Romani people. We're the real Romani people. They are not, because they don't talk the way we do. That is a fundamental problem. And it's because we don't know where we came from, and we have allowed non-Romani people to define us and tell us who we are. And until we get rid of that, we're not going to move ahead at all.